harder. I'm not sure about New Jersey, but assisted living tends to be much more private pay, and you really need to have the financial resources to afford that.
I see, but what are the issues? I guess this is one of the issues that people have to decide, whether one or the other because of money. But what are some of the issues that our family members have to think about, discuss, and come to terms with when they're considering putting an elder relative in a home?
Well, you know, first of all, you have to think about what the specific needs are of that relative. I mean, if it's, as in the case that we showed, it's a question of Alzheimer's, you know that it's going to get worse and need more care as time goes on, and you're going to want to look for a place that is going to have well-trained staff about Alzheimer's issues and is able to respond to those needs well. If the problems are physical and you know, much more disease specific, you might want to make sure that there's really strong nursing care, and how well the Alzheimer's units or staff are may not make so much difference to you. So you really need to look at the specific needs of your relative, and you need to look at what's going to make your relative comfortable. I mean, now, you know, you're starting out with someone going from their own home to a congregate setting and maybe an institutional feeling setting. You're already, this isn't ideal. But you're going to want to look at it from the point of view of your relative. Is the cultural setting important? Is the, you know, for some people, the chapel being there may be important. The kosher food or religious feeling might be important. The Spanish language and culture might be important. It may be that there are some nursing homes that I can think of that are very orderly, and you know, my mother might be happy there, I wouldn't be. So you look at it from the point of view
always, that's key.
That's
obviously, because that's going to be their living place. Now,
can I add one more factor?
Yes.
We really believe at FRIA that you're going to get better care if you have a lot of visitors. So location is important, and it should be a location that is going to allow people to visit often and unpredictably, you know, not always on Sunday afternoon.
Well, Jean, those are very good things to think about. Thank you very much for that help. For more information on everything we've been talking about today, you can go to our website at 13.org. Here are some of the places where you can find some help.
Here are some of the places where you can find help with elder care issues. The AARP, a membership organization that has literature, information, and advice on every aspect of aging and caregiving. Call them at 1-800-424-3410. The Family Caregiver Alliance, literature, information, and support for caregivers. Call them at 1-800-445-8106. The National Association of Professional Geriatric Care Managers. Help finding a referral to a care manager near you or near your aging relative. Call them at 520-881-8008. If you have access to the web, log on to 13's website at 13.org and go to New York Voices Health Specials for links to these sources and more.
And now a final word with Sarah Sadin of the Partnership for Elder Care and elder law attorney Howard Krooks. You know, it seems to me, talking to friends and thinking about my own thinking, that one of the biggest problems that one has, obstacles with nursing homes, is, you know, all the bad press that some institutions have had with the background of some of the employees, with abuse, criminality in general. Is it obvious when a place will have something like that, Howard, or not?
I don't know that it's necessarily going to be obvious, because there are nursing homes that have excellent reputations and that the lion's share of the population may wish to get their relative into, and find that they have a bad experience at that facility. Likewise, you could have a facility that may not enjoy such a high reputation and have a stellar experience at that facility. So I don't think you can necessarily predict going in that you're going to have a bad experience. And I think you hear a lot about generalities, and you have to take that into account. I think you have to select a nursing home based upon a lot of different factors that make sense for your family and the particular resident's needs. And then after that, you have to be a strong advocate for your loved one to make sure that they're getting the proper care and that nothing is falling through the cracks.
And is that part of your job too, to make sure that somebody gets the needed and proper care at a healthy home?
It hasn't happened all that frequently, but on occasion we have been approached by a family who is having difficulty dealing with the nursing home and the staff at the nursing home, and in those cases we have corresponded with the nursing home. We have met with nursing home personnel to work out those issues directly with the facility. If that is not successful, there are other avenues that families can pursue. There's a state ombudsman that you can contact. There's the New York State Department of Health, and many times people will contact local congresspersons to get involved and help work out those issues.
And Sarah, criminality aside, is it difficult, or is it actually very doable to make sure that a nursing home shares the value that you want for the place, or that your elder relative wants for that place, the most important person in the equation?
I think the family has to understand that someone going to a facility doesn't mean your job is over. It's quite the contrary. You must remain involved. You must be there to advocate. You must be there to get involved. You must be there to tell them when they do good things as well as when they don't do good things. There are councils at every facility in which if the resident can't be involved, then the family member should be. The question is, it's an ongoing process, and you should remain involved. You can't step back just because mom or dad is being taken care of someplace else.
And Howard, what if the person who's living in the home has problems with it, but for some reason the family doesn't seem to take it seriously, and they want to deal with it? What do they do?
Well, there are internal mechanisms within the facility. If the resident is alone, they're going to, hopefully they have the means, the ability to approach the nursing home staff about the problems that they're encountering. But if they find themselves alone, then community organizations perhaps need to get involved. It may become necessary if they are limited either in cognitive ability or physical ability to have a guardian appointed for them to then advocate on their behalf if they cannot rely on their family members.
Okay. Now we just have about a minute left, and I want to repeat some of the things that we discussed about earlier. If a family, a young family member wants to begin to discuss this with their elder relative, where do they begin? What kind of documents do they need to have? Sarah?
They need to have a range of information: healthcare information, legal information, financial information, as much as they can get without pressing or making their family member uncomfortable, obviously. So it's pretty far-reaching in terms of the kinds of information they need to have, but start. At least start the process.
And in 30 seconds?
I think you want to have the list that we described earlier in the program of all of the various professionals that you deal with in one place. And from a legal standpoint, you want to have a last will and testament, a healthcare proxy, a living will, and a durable power of attorney so that other people can act on your behalf in the event that you cannot.
Okay, Howard, Sarah, thank you very much. You've been very helpful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This New York Voices Health Special on senior care took just an hour, but it takes years for families to work through the issues of aging and caregiving. Visit our website at 13.org for links to agencies and groups that may be able to help you in your situation, or call the AARP at 1-800-424-3410. You know, many of us start searching for the information we need in the middle of a crisis, but the best advice from the finest experts is to start doing something right now. For 13 and New York Voices, I'm Rafael Piraman. Thanks for being with us.
This New York Voices Health Special is made possible by the members of 13, with additional funding provided by the Horace W. Goldsmith Foundation, the Norman and Rosita Winston Foundation, the Kaiser Family Foundation, and the Elroy and Terry Krumholtz Foundation.